This is Patricia Moyes, Murder Fantastical. See? Here, I can read it. Okay. Murder Fantastical. The Mansiples have always been known to their neighbors as the most eccentric family in the charming village of Craigswell. But nothing has ever started the local tongues wagging so much as when the body of Raymond Mason, who's usually taken a mysterious interest in buying the Mansipal estate, is found lying the Mansipal driveway with a bullet hole in his forehead. The local authorities quickly call on the Chief Inspector Henry Tibbet, who, almost in spite of himself, finds he is charmed by the Mansipals. Really go to any extreme, even murder to save their ancestral home. Henry Tibbet, Chief Superintendent of Scotland Yard, has for years delighted those who love a classic British detective story. A modest, self-effacing man, Tibbet possesses an almost uncanny nose for crime. Those who know him well realize that his gentlemanly demeanor masks a shrewd mind, fearless spirit. When he's with his wife Emmy, cheerful but formidable woman, there isn't any criminal anywhere can rest secure. Top echelon of mystery writers, no name is more admirable than Patricia Moyes. Okay? So here's a murder mystery where there's all these dead people at a river. Like axe murderers up here, hassling me about stuff. So you want to take on axe murderers dumping bodies in the river? You want to take on axe murderers dumping bodies in the river? Murder Fantastical by Patricia Moyes. Here, they're up here. You have to have money. They're axe murderers. You want to have to have money? They're axe murderers, and they dump people in the streets. Here's a book about it. It's a beautiful September evening, warm and golden, with a rich promise of more fine weather to come. The garden of Craigswell Manor, in this county of Fenshire. The apple trees were bent low under their burden of fragrant fruit. The bees buzzed lazily among the russet chrysanthemums, or made their way heavily and erratically across the close-cut green lawns. Surrounding rain, and in all the 3 acres with the garden walls, there was no object more esteemed than the lord of the manor himself, Sir John Adamson, Chief Constable of Fenshire. He had finished mowing the grass, now relaxing in a swing on the terrace, feeling that he had more than earned his pipe and his tankard of beer. It was no pleasure at all, therefore, that he became aware of the insistent shrilling of the telephone through the open window of his study. However, a chief constable is never off duty. Consciously, but with bad grace, Sir John heaved himself out of the comfortable seat, plodded through the French windows. Craigswell 32, Adamson speaking. Oh, is it you, John? My word, I'm glad I found you in. This is Municipal George Mansipal. George Mansipal. The last piece of information supplied by caller was unnecessary. Sir John had recognized the slight Irish lilt in the voice. He had identified his nearest neighbor, the owner resident of Craigswell Grange. "Hello, George," he said. "Nice to hear from you." This was the only partly true. Not that Sir John disliked Major Mansipal. On the contrary, he had always found a sympathetic and entertaining character. Till recently. Now, however, a strong suspicion that Mansipal's crime might not be a purely social nature, and he indulged in a mild mental blasphemy. Okay? So, there's a murder at his house. There's people who appear axe murderers killing people dumping in the river. You want a book about it? "Sorry to bother you at this hour, John," said Mansipal. "It's about that fellow Mason. I'm afraid there's nothing for it this time. We have to call it Scotland Yard." Sir John made a great effort to remain calm. "Now listen, George," he said. "I know that Mason isn't making a nuisance of himself, Sorry about it, but you must keep a sense of proportion. Scotland Yard is hardly the... George Mansfield did not appear to be aware of the interruption. He said, "You see, the fellow was a great guest under my roof. Invite himself, of course, and then one mustn't split hairs. So regard it as an obligation, and so does Violet. Must do our utmost. You understand that, don't you? Our utmost, no half measures." This time it was Sir John's turn to ignore Mansfield's ramblings. "As I was saying," he said very firmly, "I don't know what he's done to annoy you this time, but it's after 6 on Friday evening. I suggest that you have a quiet drink and put your feet up while you think it over. And after all, Monday will be quite soon enough to... Really don't understand you at all." John Mansfield sounded bewildered. "You're surely not suggesting that I do nothing until Monday?" "I am suggesting precisely that. But, my dear John, what am I about to do with this body? I can't keep it here until Monday. Violet wouldn't like it. Neither would Maud." "The body? What are you talking about?" "Well, whose body?" "Mason's, of course. Haven't you been listening, John? Of course, if you insist, I'll keep him until Monday, but it does seem..." Sir John made a grab at a fast-vanishing reality. He had found previous occasions that conversation with George Mansfield had this distressing effect of disappearing logic. The sunshine disperses fog. "Just tell me exactly what happened, George," he said. "But I've told you the fellow was visiting us at the time, which is why I feel an obligation, as so does Violet. Thompson is talking about getting on to Ducat, but I wouldn't have that, not at any price. I'll ring Sir John," I said. "Least I could do." "I presume Sir John would come into restraint. That by Thompson you mean Dr. Thompson. Doctor has achieved you to get in touch with Sergeant Ducat at the police station in Craigswell Village. Am I right?" "Of course you're right. It's perfectly simple, isn't it? I must say you're making a rather heavy weather out of the very straightforward matter, John. There's no other Ducat at Craigswell that I know of, unless you're old Henry Ducat the vet, but he lives in Kingsmarsh." Sir John swallowed. "Why," he said, "did Dr. Thompson advise you to call Sergeant Ducat?" "Well, he can't have shot himself, can he? Stands to reason." "So, Raymond Mason?" "Of course I am. Goodness me, John. Putting it clearly as I can, you were confusing things with all this talk about vets. They said I should keep Moyes Mason's body here and do nothing until Monday. I said nothing of the sort. You did, you know, but I can't help feeling that you're mistaken. I thought the police always like to take action very quickly in these cases." "George," Sir John, "would you just tell me what happened?" "But I'm telling you, Mason came around this afternoon. Don't ask me what time because I was down in at the range, but Violet will know. I don't even know what he came for, but you say he was sure to make trouble, though." "God knows I shouldn't say about the poor man. Dead as he is." "Well, what shouldn't say is about the poor man, dead as he is. Well, what it comes to is that when he was leaving the house, the great car of his, who was shot in the drive, some stone dead, Thompson said, although of course we don't know. It was the time Violet called Thompson, and Thompson has been going on about shouldn't we ring Sergeant Ducat, but I said no. I said, Sir John, I'm ringing. I feel I must insist on Scotland Yard, John.